It brings a tear to your eye, dude.
The community comes together to help raise money for the family of a 1-year-old girl who died last week. Straight flooding, heavy rain, the weather being blamed for at least one canceled event. But is there more rain in the future? Bill Alexander will have that answer.
I love taking this thing off.
And new guidelines for when masks should be worn has some small businesses confused over how to enforce that policy. That story coming up. Your news at 10 starts right now.
This is KRIS6 News at 10.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Javier Guerra. Several folks from all over South Texas came together in support of 1-year-old Giselle Lopez. We first told you the baby girl was found unconscious at the Latitude Apartments located on the city's south side on Monday and later died from her injuries on Wednesday. Now the community coming together for a fundraiser in her name. Our Jeremiah Marshall has that story.
It brings a tear to your eye, dude. So.
Members with the Corpus Christi chapter of Next Level Racing came together and hosted the benefit over at the Valencia Event Center. Word of the fundraiser in support of 1-year-old Giselle Lopez had spread, leading to many cars in line stretched from the parking lot all the way down on Ayer Street.
Like I said, nobody likes to do this, but as a community we come together in hand, we lend a hand to those in need.
The line of cars were filled with not only folks who wanted to donate, but also family and friends. We spoke to Gabriel Ibarra, who knows Lopez's biological father, and says this is extremely heartbreaking.
It's a real sad thing that happened to his daughter, me and my wife were, close to him and to his kids, so it's only right for us to come out here and support him.
Plates at the fundraiser were $10 and prepared by others along with co-owners of Amigos Backyard Barbecue. Donations coming from not just locally, but also San Antonio to the Valley.
It just lets us know that everybody's here to support each other, and whoever needs help, the community is there to help us, you know what I mean?
But in love, through hands, we can give back.
Reporting in Corpus Christi, Jeremiah Marshall, KRIS6 News.
Thank you, Jeremiah. The man accused in 1-year-old Giselle Lopez's death remains jailed on more than $1 million bond. This is exclusive video from the arraignment on Mark Anthony Hernandez on Thursday. He is now facing injury to a child and capital murder charges. Giselle was found unresponsive last Monday at the Latitude Apartments and passed away on Wednesday. All right, and it's time to change subjects to the weather meteorologist Bill Alexander on the other side of the studio. Bill, we had quite a soaker yesterday, and it looks like we could have quite a soaker of a week in the coming days.
Sure, and that yesterday went overnight and into this morning and early afternoon. The result, tremendous amounts of rain, mainly along the coastal zones, basically from Corpus Christi on up towards Port Lavaca. 3, 4, 6 inches of rain in some locations. Now that's come to an end, but in its wake, we've got a few very light showers across the brush country, and we'll see just a little bit more of that. But that's not it for tonight. That's it for tonight. As we move on into the coming days, though, we're going to see a whole lot more rain. And I do mean a real soaker as we move on into Wednesday night and Thursday especially, but even beginning as early as Tuesday and then continuing all the way in and through the weekend, a lot of rain to come. And we're going to have to be dealing with the potential for flash flooding, especially Wednesday into early Thursday. We'll talk about that in much greater detail coming up in your full forecast. Javier?
And those rains have forced TxDOT to close Texas State Highway 188. According to San Patricio Sheriff Oscar Rivera, the road was closed between FM 630 and I-37 because the rain is causing the roadway to erode in several areas. Now, flooding also impacting many Aransas Pass residents spent the day unable to drive the streets. Our Andrew Christensen spoke to some of those residents to see how it's impacting their daily activity.
I did talk to some residents of Aransas Pass who tell me going places like the grocery store or even work was difficult today because of the flooding. It sounds like the waves of the ocean, but in reality, it's the streets of Aransas Pass. Residents saying flooding is affecting their daily activities.
Like just trying to get groceries, I got to figure out which is the least flooded. I have to borrow a truck that could probably make it through these waters. And even with the truck that I'm using right now, it's my dad's truck, it was pushing it.
Benavides says flooding has been a problem ever since he was a kid. Water currently making its way into his house and causing mold. Benavides saying the city could do a lot better during flooding season.
The city should definitely look into the drainage system. They could do a lot better with a lot of the stuff. I think the city puts their money into, I don't think they use common sense. I think they put money into places that shouldn't be done. I don't think they prioritize in the right way.
Aransas Pass resident David Montemayor says his house gets flooded, saying cars passing by push the water towards his house, and the drainage system isn't helping.
This street is made this way and this one. And what it is the drainage system. It just drains too slow. And all it takes is about 4 inches of rain, and we're flooding.
For some, like Kayla Leal, the flooding isn't allowing her to go to work today, meaning less income. But to her, the flooding is bittersweet.
Really stressful, it's kind of discouraging, and also I have the mindset of the universe lets things happen or doesn't let things happen, and the universe decided today should be raining and no work.
A day Kayla is now spending with her family. Residents like Kayla tell me they think the flooding will go away within a day, but other residents like David Montemayor tell me they think the flooding will stay for about a week. Reporting in Aransas Pass, Andrew Christensen, KRIS6 News.
All right, and the rain also washing out plans to give free haircuts to the homeless today. The organizers of the free store held on Sundays at Artesian Park in Corpus Christi say the free haircuts will have to be rescheduled because of the rain, but the weather didn't stop them from giving out needed items to those who really need them. The group Coastal Bend Strong Roots and the Period Project partnered up to provide personal hygiene items to those in need.
So usually right after this, after we finish, we'll look at what went. Like today, we noticed we have no more toothpaste, so we'll have to try to figure out. We'll post on our page, Coastal Bend Strong Roots on Facebook, asking for donations of what we need.
Now, all items given out at the free store are collected through donations. The free store runs from 11 to noon Sundays, followed directly by a lunch provided by Tacos Not Bombs to anyone in need. Let's check out the latest COVID-19 numbers in Wessex County. Health officials reporting one new COVID-19 related death. The patient, a man in his 60s. That raises the total to 813 deaths. Health experts also reporting 62 new cases. That's pushing our case count to more than 42,500. Almost 40,900 people have recovered from COVID-19. Don't forget that we're tracking the virus across the Coastal Bend for your county. And those updates, you can head to our website. That's KRISTV.com. The relaxing of masking restrictions is posing challenges for many businesses who were caught off guard by new CDC guidance. As Camila Bernal reports, there's going to be a period of transition.
Go ahead, next time you're seated.
To take it off or to keep it on.
I don't mind the masks, but I definitely feel like it's liberating to not wear them.
Trader Joe's, Walmart, Costco, Starbucks say no mask required in most of their stores for customers who are fully vaccinated. But many small business owners like Jay Spangler,
I love taking this thing off,
still unable to make changes and unclear about what they will eventually require from their staff and customers.
I think that everybody wants to take their masks off. When people come in the restaurant and sit down, the first thing they do is they just want to rip their masks off.
But what makes it even more complicated, states in red in this map didn't require masks before the CDC updated its guidance. States in blue updated their guidance, and others like California still reviewing their mask regulations.
I will continue to wear my mask around people that I feel are more vulnerable because I think it's the responsible thing to do.
In the meantime, the Biden administration trying to answer questions.
What should I say when someone tells me they don't want to get vaccinated?
It's important to understand what you're putting into your body. And this is especially important because we know there's a lot of misinformation swirling around. These are rigorously studied vaccines. Doctors and nurses across the country are not only recommending them, but they're taking them themselves.
The experts have been on defense after the new CDC guidance saying fully vaccinated people can go without a mask in most cases caused a great deal of confusion. The CDC says the change was based on new analysis of data from vaccinated healthcare workers.
The rules change so much that we just wait until the day of and then adapt on the fly.
Spangler believes there will still be confusion, changes, and last-minute notices. But overall,
It's great to see people's faces again.
And he's hopeful about the future.
The more we could fit inside, the better, just because we've got a lot of recouping to do.
That was Camila Bernal reporting. A tragic accident in Israel. 2 people killed after a bleacher collapse. Those details are coming up next.
This is KRIS6 News at 10.
Thanks for staying with us. At least 2 people were killed when bleachers at a synagogue under construction collapsed during a Jewish worship service in the West Bank. Security video shows a crowded grandstand collapsing and worshipers falling on each other. It collapsed during an ultra-Orthodox prayer at the beginning of a major Jewish holiday. Police said 650 worshipers were there at the time, despite official warnings. The building was unsafe. And here in the U.S., the UN Security Council gathered to discuss the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian fighting. President Biden spoke with both leaders of Israel and the Palestinian Authority this weekend. And a U.S. envoy has been sent to the region for de-escalation talks, but the airstrikes continue. Jennifer Johnson reports.
Rescuers search for survivors after a series of pre-dawn airstrikes in Gaza City. It was the deadliest single day of attacks since heavy fighting broke out between Israel and Hamas militants a week ago. Israel's prime minister is defending the strikes as the death toll on both sides mounts.
If Hamas thought that they could just fire on our rockets and then sit back and enjoy immunity, that's false. We are targeting a terrorist organization that is targeting our civilians and hiding behind their civilians, using them as human shields.
In cities across the country, pro-Palestinian rallies were held this weekend, while in New York, the UN Security Council held an unusual Sunday session, addressing the worst violence in the Middle East in years. President Biden left the White House late Saturday, ignoring reporters' questions after talking to both the Palestinian Authority president and Israel's prime minister, reaffirming his support for Israel's right to defend itself. Most in Biden's own party agree, but some are also defending the Palestinians.
The Palestinian people have a right to live in peace and freedom, to a state of their own, living side by side in peace with Israel.
The White House says the president also raised concerns about civilian casualties and protecting journalists after an Israeli airstrike hit a building that housed the Associated Press and Al Jazeera. Israel did warn the journalists to get out before the building was hit. Jennifer Johnson, NBC News, Washington.
Well, today's rains have long since gone, but their remnants, the flooding on the roads, the flooding in the fields, that's going to linger and be saturated for a while. More rain is on the way. Are we going to have problems with the infrastructure here? The flooding of roads again? Yes, we'll talk about that coming up in your full forecast. Javier?
Plus, several people still